Alright, another awesome episode about the On the Fly Book Club, because this one is going to be about the Psychobiotic Revolution. It's called Psychobiotic because it's about your mind and about your gut and what you eat and everything that it does to your body. So, did you know that you are outnumbered 1 to 100 by the bacteria living inside of you, and that every time you eat something you actually change all these bacteria a little bit. And these bacteria contain DNA, so we can say it's pretty much a fact that by every time you change something in your diet and we would put you in a blender, your DNA would be different because the way that you eat. So the question here is really, who is running the show? Who is actually craving these sugars and who is craving this meat or fish or eggs or whatever, plants even? You can really just change whatever you want to eat, but it will take a while because it takes a while for your gut to change this composition of your bacteria. You can look at it as a jungle with a really, hopefully, very large biodiversity. I've actually done a test myself, sent some shit to the lab and got back my results. I was eating, I thought, very diverse, but apparently it was very average, unfortunately. The main rule is the more variation you eat and the more biodiverse your gut is, the better. And most of the people who are, if they are only eating fast food, you could think of their gut just like a dry desert with only, well, there are species living there, but they are not very beneficial to your well-being, because it turns out that the bacteria that are good for your mood are not the ones that like to eat sugar. So if you eat a lot of sugar, this could actually be a reason that it has an impact on your mood, apart from the fact that it's going to like flip and bounce your glucose levels all over the place, and you're going to be hangry just 1 hour after you've eaten this food. It talks a lot about probiotics and prebiotics. So the difference here is that probiotics are living organisms. I have a few standing around here. One of them being kombucha, maybe you know this, or actually kimchi can also be a probiotic because it's living. It creates lactic acid. The bacteria inside of the kimchi create lactic acid, and the lactic acid itself is like seen as a big treat for the bacteria living inside of you. So the more lactic acid or lactic acid creating bacteria that you ingest, the happier your gut will be. And even if you have, and this is not medical advice because I'm not a doctor, but I've seen people who were massively benefiting from drinking kefir, like raw kefir, just because it is a probiotic and it just helps to fight against leaky gut disease. And then there's prebiotic. So this is actually feeding the probiotic. So probiotic is alive and prebiotic is something that is feeding the bacteria. One thing that also stood out to me is that sickness behavior, so behavior that you have when you are feeling sick, is actually also a good survival mechanism, because what's happening when you are feeling sick is that you're gonna say, just please leave me alone, and you want to be covered up by blankets and separated from the rest of the people. Now, this is actually very wise and smart to do in case of someone being sick, because you don't want to spread all the germs to all the other people. There was also a study done where they did a transplant, fecal transplant, so they transplanted shit from a human to a rat, not the other way around. That would be somehow less ethical. So they gave them capsules, I don't know how, they ingested it, but they were from depressed humans. And afterwards they found that the rats also became depressed. So there's a lot of research being done right now in this field of microbiome and how it's actually affecting the way we are feeling. So you can think of fermentation, because that's the one big takeaway from this whole book, or one of the few big takeaways, is that fermented foods, and you can just Google them. I just named a few, like kimchi, kefir, kombucha, basically everything that starts with a K. Online you can find DIY fecal transplants, but this is the most stupid thing to do, because your gut, your crap inside of you is actually like another organism, and you wouldn't want to do a organ transplantation in your own kitchen, would you? So thanks for watching, and see you in the next book club video.